Valor 2.0 just dropped. It came a lot earlier than I expected them to. With Valor 1.0 already doing so well, so consistent, probably the most consistent bot, I expected their 2.0 to come out a little later. But I have no complaints at all. In this video, we're going to be looking at everything that was added to Valor, taken out, the changes that are going on in Valor, and what you can expect in the future. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Before we dive into 2.0, let's just look at all the things that were removed from 1.0. First off, there's no more Supreme module. That's completely gone. Out of all the modules that Valor supports, that was by far the weakest, and I can't blame them for that because Supreme was already dead. They dropped maybe 1 to 2 profitable items every single season. There's no point of putting in time into a module where you can barely make any money. The second thing that is gone is the color changing Easter egg. Most people don't know this already about Valor, but if you click the Valor logo at the top left 3 times, it'll change the color of the bot accents. Obviously, this is not a big change. Most people probably didn't even know about it, but that's just something that I noticed. And that's it for the things that are removed. It's a very small list. Those things probably won't even be missed and doesn't affect the bot at all. These are the change logs if you want to stop and read them. It's very long, so we're not going to be touching on every single thing that's in here. We're just going to go over the major things. Just a disclaimer before we jump into Valor 2.0. 2.0 is not fully complete like they want it to be. Some of the sites and features that were going to be added aren't added in right now. They will come in the future. The main reason is because they were working on 2.0 and 1.0 at the exact same time, and eventually it became too much for them to work on both projects at the same time. They didn't want to decrease the performance of 1.0, so instead they just pushed 2.0 out to everybody else so they could focus on 2.0 as a whole. So now let's look into what has been added to Valor 2.0. So this is the beautiful Valor 2.0 UI. Compared to the last one, this one looks a lot more modern. We can now see our dashboard and the releases that are coming up in the same place. It gives you an entire overview of the checkouts that you hit, and then at the top right you can go ahead and switch and see what sites you actually spent your money on, which is a pretty cool feature. And at the top right we now have some new buttons. This camera button is an inbot screenshot, so if you click that, it comes up with this pop-up saying image copy to clipboard. You want to tweet it, and if you click tweet, it'll open up a Twitter browser where you could tweet it from there, which is a very cool feature. And then we have a Twitter icon which takes you to their Twitter, a page icon where it takes you to the documentation of the bot, and then this new bell where you can see notifications about Valor. In here you're going to see everything from when you pass a splash, when you check out, declines, every status that you need to know you can find here. And finally, we are able to resize the window. In the previous version you weren't able to change anything about the window. You could only have it in the very small default screen. So if you ever want to full screen it, that wasn't an option, but now it is. And then in our settings tab we can find our dashboard and all the settings for our webhook, which type of webhook notifications you want to receive, and then of course a check update button. The most important thing in here is this new button at the bottom. If we go ahead and click this, it's gonna come up with a screen saying import and export. This is actually where you can export your entire setup. Everything from your tasks, your profiles, your proxies, all the settings, your capture harvesters, everything about the bot can be completely exported and imported onto another computer. So with the addition of 2.0, Valor allows you to run 2 instances. This is huge and well worth the money. In 1.0, Valor used to struggle with a certain amount of tasks. In my live cops, you never see me run over 1,000 tasks just because the UI gets so laggy. Sometimes you can't even stop tasks. But now with 2 instances, you run on 2 separate computers, 1,000 tasks each, for a total of 2,000 tasks if you wanted. Obviously, Valor can handle a lot more than this. This is just what I'm comfortable with. With these 2 instances, unfortunately, there was a price increase. Originally, it was $50 a month. It's now $75 a month. So there was a $25 increase. Personally, I don't think that this is a bad thing. I already love running Valor. Now that I'm able to run 2 copies, it's gonna be even sweeter. Next up, we have our capture tab. Of course, this is where you can see all your harvesters. You can connect your AYCD if you want to, but as of right now, Valor doesn't use auto solve for Yeezy Supply. You can use it for foot sites, but Yeezy Supply is not available. And this is a new tab to the bot, which is miscellaneous. First thing that we see is a lot of blurred out coming soon boxes. Like I said before, Valor 2.0 is not a fully complete project, so a lot of the features that are going to be in future updates are not here right now, but they should be coming pretty soon. It's kind of like a video game when they drop DLC. Make your users happy while you can continue making your users happy. Beautiful execution. One of the things that is open to all users is the gift cards. If you're into that, this is very cool to manage all your gift cards in one spot. I personally don't use gift cards, but I know a lot of people do. Next thing, and probably the most exciting thing about Valor 2.0, is the foot sites monitor. In this foot sites monitor, it's obviously what it sounds like. You can monitor certain SKUs from certain sites without using any of your proxies. So as you can see in here, I have a few SKUs running right now, just some of the more popular releases that restock and that are profitable. And if you're wondering if this is working, at the time of me recording this video, the Panda Dunk Lows just restocked and Valor 2.0 hit 300 pairs on the very first restock of 2.0. So it's pretty safe to say it's working. Now if we want to set up our monitors, it greets us with this page. This is where we can select our sites. Then you paste in the SKU that you want to monitor. You select the sizes. This is where you can control how long you want your task to run. This is a very good way to conserve your resources. If you're someone that's using a subnet and you don't want to get it clipped, or you're using resis and you don't want to drain the data, you can have Valor stop it after a certain amount of minutes so you don't jeopardize any of your IPs. And then we have this alert on start button. This is going to send to your Discord webhook, letting you know that your tasks have started. And then also for the product page, if the product page goes live, you can get alerted on that as well. This is the proxy tab. We're not going to say anything about this because it's a basic proxy tab. You paste proxies in, you can manage proxies. Cool. Finally, Valor has profile grouping. If you want to set up in the previous version of Valor, you had to select your profile one by one, create however many tasks that you want. If you want to switch up your proxies, you got to do that. It was just a lot. Now with profile grouping, you're able to stay more organized and it allows for faster setting up. Before we leave this tab, you see that they have a button that says rotate on decline. This is going to be huge for sites like foot sites where you get declined with one of your payment methods. It can go ahead and rotate out to the next one. I'm sure this is going to result in more pairs being copped, so I'm glad they added this. And now we're looking at our task. They now have task grouping, which is amazing because if you wanted to run for multiple sites, multiple drops, you have different SKUs, different profiles. It was just too much to manage when it was all in one stack. Now you can be more organized and manage it however you want to. Also, if you don't want to have your task groups just out in the open, you can click the hide task group button, where it's going to hide it for you. 2.0 now has the ability to schedule tasks. Before in the previous version, you weren't able to schedule tasks. You would have to manually start them all by yourself. But in 2.0, this is now an option. Now, if we were to go ahead and create a task, from here you can select a task group where you want to put all your tasks into. This is the entire site list of Valor right now. As you see, Supreme is gone from here, but all the other sites remain. And now there's two modes for foot sites. With Queue It being added, you can now run the Queue It mode. If it's not Queue It, you can run the normal mode. Just like with foot sites, there's two methods that these sites like to release with. With Finish Line's new approach, they're trying to make everybody use the app instead of the desktop version. Some drops are now exclusively through the app, so bots that had desktop weren't able to even cop, while all the bots that did have app were able to feast. So you now have the option to choose between the two. And this is what I'm talking about with the profile and the proxy tab grouping. Just look how easy it is for me to set up. And just like that, I'm done setting up. It's gonna save so much more time. Valor has now added a create a task button at the top of the menu where you can create tasks from anywhere in the bot. If you see something shock drop, you no longer have to go into the task tab. That 2 to 3 seconds that it's gonna take you is gonna be very crucial for you copying. So that's the entire bot. I went over everything that I possibly could. If you looked in the change logs, a lot of the things I'm not able to actually show, like the checkout sound. I'm not gonna check out a pair just for you guys to hear the sound. You'll hear it in my live cops. So far, I think Valor 2.0 is amazing. A lot of quality of life features that came into the bot. It's going to change the game for us. I haven't been able to run the drop just yet, but tomorrow there is a release and I'll let you guys know how we do on that. So I appreciate you guys for sticking around. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think about 2.0 and let me know if you're going to pick up a copy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.